Yes, people. What's going on? It's Egal Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Today, we just beat PSV. What am I talking about? We drew versus PSV, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone thought we were going to win this game, but it is what it is. It's the last game of the Europa. Was it the Europa League? No, that was the Champions League, ladies and gentlemen. Today just felt weird. I felt like we walked into a game and there was no level of urgency. Nobody really was like bothered. And it felt like a Europa League fixture, guys, because I'd never seen this lack of intensity in the other games, because now there was nothing to play for. It was a dead rubber. Both teams were already through. We didn't really care. But guess what? We got out of the game with no injuries, and we're here to talk about the game. I thought Bukayo Saka got injured for a second, but luckily Matt told me that he just went to go take a poo. So big up Matt Matt over here. Big up Mr. OTP for jumping on for the first time. And we got Gunnar Souls, right-hand man, always in the building. So we're just going to talk about the game quickly, do like maybe like 20-minute just synopsis on what we thought of the game, who we want in the round of 16, and of course some live reactions if Manchester United concede or whatever else. But I'm just going to go first, and I'm just going to say, I don't know about you guys, I'm gutted the youngsters didn't get an opportunity. And when I say I'm gutted the youngsters didn't get an opportunity, these guys basically went there for vacation. I thought everywhere I was reading reports that Roy Walters was going to get an opportunity. He was going to get to start. We were seeing pictures of the left back and Ethan, both also on the plane, but neither of them got an opportunity. Mikel Arteta even brought Jesus on for 2 minutes rather than anybody else. So it is what it is. We dropped. I don't even feel like the draw matters. The performance, the result. I feel like it doesn't matter. We're already through. Like, this was just a game where we needed to get through without any injuries. If we had a major injury in this game, say, for example, Saliba got injured or somebody got injured massively in the first team, that would have been more of a gut punch than any loss or doesn't matter how much we conceded by. If we would have lost Saliba today, that would be way worse than a 10-0 loss, in my opinion. So I'm just happy none of these guys got injured. But hey, Sol's going to probably be angry with me for saying that. What are you saying, Sols?
Nah, man, do you know what it is? Like, for me, I treat the club like an elite club now, right? Because we're moving in that direction. We want to compete against the likes of Man City, the likes of Liverpool, the Bayern Munich, the Real Madrid, whatever top clubs you want to put in Europe right now. And for that, we can't have sentiment on playing children, because we've got a long season ahead of us. And if Mikel Arteta, and this is the primary key to the point that I'm trying to make here, if Mikel doesn't see the kids this season, as in his plans this season, they don't play. Because we don't have time, right, to give minutes to players who may play in the future. If they want to leave. I really don't care how talented you are. If you want to earn your opportunity, go speak to the coach, go speak to the manager, and say to them, what can I do to get that starting space? What can I do to play in these kind of games? And do what he tells you to do. I'm sure they have conversation. I'm sure there's ways to get in. And yes, they're on the bench, but there's players ahead of them that we need to get minutes to. If he sees Ben White, Tomiyasu getting injured and Cedric is the guy that's going to step in, then Cedric needs the minutes. As long as, I don't care whether we disagree whether Cedric is shit. That's not our prerogative. Our prerogative is what the manager wants to do with his sort of players who are going to be his emergency backups. If he sees Declan Rice as a centre-back, he put him on a centre-back to let him play there. Similar things that he was doing with, like, Thomas Partey, moving him into the 6, moving him into different position. Same way that, he sees Havertz as a midfielder, but also as an emergency false 9. So when he plays him in that 9, it's because he sees him in a few games, or in certain games, he wants to play him there. So as much as we want to question Mikel Arteta and his ideas and why he didn't give the opportunity to the kids, they probably didn't deserve it. As much as we think they deserve it, Arteta's looking at it and go, nah, I'm going to keep them hungry, and I want to see how much they want it. And if they really want it, they'll continue working hard, because I put them on the bench. You didn't have to put them on the bench. You didn't even have to take them.
But I think he tried to go for the win. I don't know about you guys.
I think he did have to take them, because he had no one, because they were all injured. Who could he take?
Yeah. Doesn't matter. He can take whoever he wants, but they were the chosen ones. So be proud that you were even chosen.
But then can I ask you a question, Souls? Because, like, I'll give you an example here. Like, do you remember when Marcus Rashford broke onto the scene? It was a matter of, like, circumstance, right? It was never like he was the next one up or he was some golden child in the academy. It was to do with injuries, unavailability of players, and then he came into the Europa League game, and then he had that, historical game against us, which We all remember, right? So
that's how academy players make it.
It's like opportunities, right? So for me, it's like, look, I expect Cedric to start right back, and Kirill could have played centre back, but then you could have played the young kid at left back, for instance, because he's actually a left back. So it's not about not playing the backup players, because obviously those are priority goes to them. But within the backup players that we have, we could have also fielded the younger players as well with them, rather than risk, say, the Havertz, the Salibas, the Gabriel, because one of the big criticisms from last season, when you think about the fadings, was the injury of Saliba, right? In that Europa League group, in that Europa League tie, should I say. And he got injured in that game. And we all look at it like, had he not played that game, maybe our season could have turned out a bit differently. So there's also maybe, like, for me, some criticism of Arteta, because he hasn't necessarily learned from that mistake. Like, had there been a backup centre-back, like a Timber, Tomiyasu, whoever it may be, then I'd be like, cool, forget the youngsters. But none of them are available. So it's like, all right, give the youngsters a try, because this is your opportunity to do so without there being any implications. And I think as fans, if we lost today with the youngsters playing, I wouldn't be that aggrieved. But if you play a strong team and you lose or you get injuries, you're like, wait, hold on, you played this team and then you haven't even won the game. So what is there to benefit from, like the first team, should I say?
The only benefit for me is Reece Nelson getting some minutes.
Because Reece Nelson and Smith Rowe.
I thought Reece Nelson was good. I don't know about you guys. Did you guys think, you know what? Let's just go through some of these players quickly. Okay. Ramsdale started the game. What did you guys think of Ramsdale?
I just think he had a decent game. He didn't really do too much wrong. He made a few good saves, but he didn't really do much wrong. But he didn't really do great things. So it was just an average game, really.
Yeah, I think he got hurt, and he would have got subbed off if it wasn't for the fact that he's a backup now.
And
I think the goal wasn't his fault either. Sorry.
What? Yeah.
The goal wasn't his fault either, to be fair. It was a great strike, so I can't...
Yeah, he was at full stretch.
Yeah, like, it was a great strike.
That's all on the defenders. That was shit defending.
So, overall, you'd say he done what he could do, you know what I mean? He never did anything spectacular, but he never did anything where you kind of look at him like, say, the Brentford game when he was misplacing passes and looked like a liability. He was more like he did his role, and, you commend him for that.
Okay. Cedric.
I was actually pretty pleased with him.
What do you guys think of Cedric's
good game?
I thought Cedric was good.
He was a bit quiet.
I have no standards for him, so like anything's good. that's where the issue is. It's like I'll be honest. I thought some of his deliveries were quite good, but defensively, I don't know where he was half the time. I was like, wait, it's like every ball just what was his name? First Tessin or whatever his name is. Every single time was scoring on goal 1-on-1, like, and it was Saliba defending him, not Cedric. So on that part, I am a bit disappointed. We seemed a lot more reassured when Ben White came on, and that's part of the problem. I'm not saying they have to be as good as the starters, but they've got to make us not miss the starter.
I mean, for me, the biggest takeaway I'll give from Cedric is he made me wonder what it would be like if we had an actual traditional fullback, like one that goes forward, because we saw a bit of how much help he gave Reece Nelson by creating the overlap and allowing him to go inside, right? So that was more of what I took from it, right, as opposed to performance. Going forward, he was decent. Going defensively, we all know his shortcomings. So for me, it was just like, how interesting would it be if Arsenal were to sign an actual overlapping traditional right back, for instance, who's a bit more fluid than, say, a Ben White or Tomiyasu in that position? You know what I mean? So
I don't understand why we played him, personally. I get Elneny. I just don't think Mikel Arteta would even consider suffering with Cedric in a Premier League game.
I think it might be because he's got his Champions League debut, maybe it adds a bit more value onto him. I don't know. Like, I don't know how the value side of that works. If you're playing in the Champions League, it's like an additional couple million. So I'm not too sure.
Do you think it could be an attitude thing in terms of, like, maybe he's a consummate professional, the manager respects how he trains, how he looks after youngsters, for instance? Like, I'm speculating, by the way. I'm not saying
I think he is very professional.
But maybe it's that kind of like, okay, he trains hard, he gives it his all, he's a leader, like, to the younger players, not in like on a pitch sense, but he deserves an opportunity because of similar to like El Nene. You know, like how El Nene gets his pass because of his character and how
Yeah.
he's and Arteta.
I think it's because, like you said before, what would it be like to have an attacking right back? Maybe Arteta's just experimenting because he's the most naturally attacking of what we have available. And Ben White's more defensive, for example, likes to come inside more, likes the little intricate passing, whereas Cedric whips him in more. So maybe he just wanted to get a feel of, okay, if I push Reece Nelson in and I've got someone who's more naturally more touchline, because that's one of the criticisms Saka's got this season. He should be going out wide more. So maybe Arteta's I don't know. There's many reasons.
So was this whole
why
game just tinkering? This whole game was just an experiment.
I reckon he wanted
I have
to
also
experiment
seen
to
that
some degree,
Cedric is learning from our set piece coach. I can't remember his name.
I don't want him taking
Nicholas
set
Jones.
pieces.
Well, Nicola
Guys,
Yoga.
please. Do you remember last year when he took set piece and he just struck it like into
No. As he's learning, as in coaching wise.
Okay.
I think because
I mean,
his career's done at Arsenal, but
I mean, to go into Sol's point, like I feel like having an overlapping winger would give Saka so much more help. Because when you look at like when we play sometimes here, when there's both Saka and Martinelli,
Come on,
Odegaard on that right hand side, they
Give
both
me
want to
anyone,
cut in,
man.
innit?
I don't care.
Sorry, my bad, Mr. OTP. What are you saying? What's your name?
I was just saying to you, I think it gave us an idea of maybe what it'd be like, how Saka could maybe be helped when there's an overlapping player. Because like when you look at us, when we play with Odegaard, both Saka and Odegaard want to cut in. So there's no real threat of the overlap, right? Or even the underlap. It's all, you always know what's going to happen. So sometimes it's like, I feel like Saka would be given so much more space if he had a traditional fullback who overlapped, because it would allow him to go inside a bit more and to do combinations. We all know Ben White is traditionally a centre back who's moved to the right back and he's done really well. But going forward is not naturally it's not natural to his game. It's something that he's had to kind of like learn on the job, so to speak.
Yo, Egal, I've got a stat to read, right? So in the Champions League this season, XG, Arsenal have 11.81 XG, and we've scored 16 goals. And the opponents that we faced have an XG of 4.22, and we've conceded 4 goals. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Like in terms of attacking.
I think we're the best at statistics.
Yeah.
Have we scored the most goals in the Champions League? I don't think.
No, I think we're tied. We're tied with Man City and someone else.
No, we're actually behind Man City and Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
But when it comes to our defensive end, we're
I
one of the
think
best
we've been
teams
the best
defensively in the Champions League. Actually, Man City's. You know what? We're actually not that high as I thought. We have the most clean sheets, but expected goals against. You have Real Madrid, Inter, then we're 4th.
And we have had a very easy group, so yeah.
Hey, it is what it is. Let's talk about this though. What do you think of the center back? Because I didn't want to see them playing this game. Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba. I thought Saliba cost us the goal. I thought Saliba also saved us from a goal earlier in one of the counterattacks where he basically like the ball was rolling and he just stomped on it and took it out of the player's way. And
that was probably both of their worst games together, I think. Like probably one of their worst, because Gabriel, like he made that brilliant block, but then he was nearly the cause of another goal. And obviously it was Saliba's fault that we conceded. I just think they had a very meh game.
What would you give them ratings out of 10? Because we gave Ramsdale 6, right?
Maybe like 4.
A 4.
Probably a 5. I'd say they were average. They had moments of like where they were caught out, but then they had that.
What are you giving Cedric? A 6?
I give Cedric a 6 or a 5.
Souls?
I mean, for his standard, probably a 6.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, so if we're gonna go based on standards, Saliba gets
based on
5.
standards.
No, do you know what it is? Mikel Arteta said, get all your bozo out in this game. Just make all the mistakes you're going to make and just... Yeah. Gabriel Defoe's overextended that.
What about Nketiah? I thought Nketiah was good.
Just a quick one on the centre-backs, guys, yeah?
Nah, he was rubbish, lad.
Nketiah got absolutely, like...
man got cooked. Man couldn't attack. Man couldn't do anything.
Just a quick one on the centre-backs, guys. I was going to say, with the centre-backs, I think also, like, when you look at our team, normally we've got more athleticism in front of them, right? But when you look at like Jorginho and Nene in front, you haven't really got people that are really dual winners, right? So they're going to get exposed a lot more ran at. And you kind of, I think even with Van Dijk, we saw it last season, when he was ran at continuously, you saw a lesser Van Dijk, for instance. But when he's got a bit more protection, you see his quality. And I think that was kind of what happened today. They were ran at way too much. They were poor as well, but they were exposed a lot more because of the changes. And, you know, Jorginho and Nene can't really deal with runners, can they?
Yo, Egal. So
Yeah.
I have a answer as to why Arteta didn't play the youngsters. He said, I don't think it was the right context. Making 8 changes already to throw them in there against a team that hasn't lost at home in nearly 2 years, I didn't think it was the right moment. But my question is, when is going to be the right moment? Because we were 5-0 up against Lens, 5-0 in the first half.
Well, when does the under 23 play again?
Happened,
that's the opportunity. They can go and play in there and impress.
That's harsh.
And
But
then
it's the reality.
It's not harsh. You go and impress, and then you get. When we can give you an opportunity, we're not here to gift you opportunities.
No, I get that, but I don't know.
This is why I say the fan base ain't ready to win the league.
No, but don't you think, Gunnar Souls, I've seen Man City, blood the likes of Luis Diaz, Brahim Diaz in the past, right? Whilst when they've gone clear in the Carabao Cups, in the Champions League when they've won it, they'll play these
Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer. They'll play them in these games, right? When they've already qualified, to kind of allow them the opportunity, right? And if you look at our history as Arsenal, right?
Yeah, but their backups are good enough to play in the Premier League. Our backups are not good enough to play. But we don't have an opportunity to give to them. That's like a pressurized moment.
We didn't cheat though.
But you know what? Yeah, I looked at earlier today. I was having a discussion with a friend. I looked at City versus Seville last season, right? Their last group stage game, and I saw some youngsters that played. There was one youngster that played for Man City that I've never seen. I can't remember his name, but he never played before.
Oscar Bob.
No, it wasn't even Oscar.
He
Bob.
played
Oscar
this
Bob's
season.
more, yeah, but he played last season, for instance. And I was like, okay, look, even Pep will use it to kind of give an opportunity to see how they respond to that level, right? So
yes,
I'm just
but they rotate enough. Arteta does not rotate his 11.
And that's
so
the
opportunity. No, that's a different criticism. But in terms of giving the opportunity to the kids, I don't really care for that, because if Arteta feels they're not going to play a part in the season when it comes to the business end, I don't need to see them. I don't care to see them. I need to see the players who are going to win us that damn Premier League. If that is Walters, then yes, he's made a huge mistake. But if he doesn't see Walters partaking in the business end of the season, or when the congestion happens again, I know there's another congestion happening in the Christmas period. We've got game after game after game. But I'm talking business end when, if we do get further into the cup competitions, if he doesn't see these youngsters, whoever they may be, however good they may be, then there's no point. We've got bigger priorities. We need to give Cedric those minutes. We need to give El Neni those minutes.
Okay,
we need to give the likes of Trossard, etc. those minutes.
Let's get to the player ratings so we can kind of talk about the rest of the game, because I feel like the game and the player ratings go hand in hand today. There's not much outside of the player ratings besides one thing. Did you guys notice that there was a weird incident where the guy caught the ball in play?
Yeah, he thought
he went out, and then he just.
What happened there?
Hilarious.
I think he thought it was going out, so he'll just take it. And
Why didn't they give it as a penalty? Or am I crazy?
Why didn't they give it? It's a court. How did they give it? How would they give it a penalty?
It's in our box.
Yeah, how could they give it?
It's in our box. It's not in their box.
It's in our box.
Yeah. So how do we get a penalty? He handballed it. It's a goal kick.
Oh, what am I talking about? My apologies. I'm tripping. Listen, I thought it was the other goal. My apologies. Look, so they just gave us a free kick and they kept it moving, but that was weird.
Yeah, I think he thought it was just out, so he'll pick it up and just put it for a corner. But
I'm not gonna lie. For a second, I thought it was in in their box. I was tripping.
And that kid was giving us problems, by the way, as well.
Penalty.
Yeah,
that's how you can tell that this game had me so dazed. Let's forget about the rest of the game. Standout performance for you guys was Reece Nelson, right?
Probably the only one who staked some claim. I'm not saying he should start, but he's up the pecking order. He's above Trossard for me right now.
He had the most intent.
Nah. Trossard has done so much this season already.
Do you know what? Yeah, Trossard's a midfielder. I don't rate him as a winger, you know, or down the
I don't
middle.
rate him as a midfielder. I mean, I think Kai Havertz is better
He's
as a
too
midfielder
slow
than him.
for what we need.
I don't rate him as either, to be fair. I don't think in the way we want to play as a winger, like when you look at how we want to attack down the wings, I don't think he has the dynamic aspect of his game to be an out-and-out winger and hold that touchline. I feel like he's a good impact player, but I don't feel like if Martinelli was to go out for the season and we had to play Trossard at left wing for the season, I would be like, if I'm to be honest, I would be completely like appalled because I know the drop off in terms of
what Trossard is.
threat.
Trossard's our version of Shaqiri from Liverpool. He's that guy.
Yes.
He's that guy who on any given day could give you a great game, but then there's going to be days where it's like you're not really getting much from him.
Yeah, and I feel like he's so like it's also like one of the things I had with the Trossard signing was when we went and signed Trossard, I thought Stein, like when you look at his profile, he was such a different profile to say the Mudryk that we wanted, right? Not to say we should sign Mudryk, but when you look at them, they were contrasts. And the same with Jorginho. And I'm like, you've gone from the most athletic ball-winning player to one who's not really an athletic player at all. And you've gone from a touchline winger who's explosive to a really neat, intricate, a bit slower, two-footed player. And it's like they're stark opposites. And that's part of, the signings that I don't really understand because it doesn't, usually I feel like signings should be profiles, not, like switching from one to the other. They should all be quite similar. You can't go from trying to sign Andy Carroll to trying to sign Michael Owen. It just don't make sense, right? You'd want to, right?
All right. I'm just gonna throw around names. Tell me what you guys thought. Kavior, 6 or 5 out of 10?
Nah, he was a 2.
4.
That's 2 guys.
3. I think Bakayoko roasted him.
Yeah.
He had him
We're
on
gonna
skate.
talk about Bakayoko.
What element of his
Bakayoko?
What element of his game was he good? Like attacking, he missed so many opportunities, so greedy. And then when it comes defensively,
Kivior should have scored at the end of the game. He should have bloody scored that. He was 1-on-1 and he hit it at the goalkeeper.
It's a 2 for me, man. He did not impress at all.
El Neni for the 60 minutes that he played.
I'll give him a 6.
5.
10 out of 10, man. El Neni always gets a 10 out of 10.
Sorry?
You clearly have an agenda. Anyways. 5 for El Neni. Jorginho, 6.
I actually thought he had a better game than I thought he would have.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone's on Jorginho's case. He's just the guy, whenever anybody gets it, everyone, people just keep throwing the ball to him whenever they're in sticky situations. He's the guy. Everyone just throws the ball to him. Your sticky situation, give it to Jorginho. He'll get you out of it.
And I think he's best suited for these type of games, isn't it? Like the slower pace of Europe suits him a lot better than the Premier League, where it's not as all action, and he excels a lot more. So definitely a good player for a European.
He's a UCL baller. Let's be like,
he's definitely a UCL baller, and he had the most touches probably out of anybody outside of the defenders. Kai Havertz, I thought Kai Havertz actually was playing a little bit more timid today. I don't know what you guys.
Nah, I disagree. I just think our players, for some reason, I don't know what. I don't understand the Havertz.
It was like he was worried about getting injured.
No,
but he missed one big chance.
I disagree. Our players are too stupid to pick him out. He makes excellent runs. He's in the right position, but we just don't want to play him in. It's like are we getting fined for playing long balls because the guy's in the right place? He's there, like, come on, give it to me. Like, are we going to do anything? Oh, I'm offside now. Like, thank you very much. I don't blame him.
Genuinely makes Kai Havertz just perform so well because
just pick it. Look, genuinely, go watch the game back, right, and watch him. He probably you could easily for himself create like 15 one-on-ones for him because he's there, he's ready, just whip the ball in. But Gabriel's there like, oh, Saliba, you can have it now. It's like stop being scared and play the ball.
He's intelligent.
Was actually good. What'd you say?
I said he's intelligent. The runs he makes, I know it was the thing at first on social media, like on Twitter, people were like, oh, he just makes smart runs. But you're seeing it more and more. Like the more we see of Kai Havertz, the Luton game and whatnot, even against Villa, there were so many times he was overlapping and underlapping. He was never fouled, or he was making the third man run. And it's a shame because I feel like that's one aspect of our game we can utilize, and it'll probably bring out the best in him as well because he's doing the right things.
Honestly, you know what? Take a moment away from the player ratings. We're gonna come back to Elneny in a second, but Kai Havertz has been good recently. He's been one of the better players in this team. So
He
I'm
got player of the
just
month.
gonna ask you guys all in the panel one by one. If you could describe Kai Havertz right now, what would you describe him as? Just as quick as possible. What would you describe him as? Because for me, I'm looking at Kai Havertz this season and I'm saying he's improved a lot. That's one thing I would say. He's improved a lot, and his work rate cannot be questioned at this point.
Box crasher for me. He's somebody who crashes that box. He adds numbers, and yeah, I'm seeing more of him, and he's growing in confidence, which is a relief because I was kind of scared that would happen, so that it wouldn't happen, should I say? So it's nice to see him actually having a bit more belief. And because at Chelsea, I feel like you could see he was just more of a. I always compared him to a battered woman. And it sounds bad, but I felt like he was broken.
What?
Right? It sounds wild, but I just mean like in terms of like he just had no confidence and he never found himself. He came from a broken relationship and he just wasn't himself. It sounds real wild. So I always said
you should have just said broken relationship from the jump. You shouldn't have said the other thing.
There you go. Apologies. What I mean in terms of the metaphor I was trying to think is that he just had no confidence, right? He didn't really believe in himself. He didn't feel confident in his own skin, and he wasn't happy to express himself. And I think slowly he's opening up. You're seeing him like really battle and fight. And
I don't think Chelsea improved players like similar to Manchester United. They definitely they buy players and they are what they are for the whole time. I don't see them take levels up too often. Maybe that's harsh, but I haven't seen him improve from the player that he was when he came into Chelsea. He's coming to Arsenal already. We're seeing an improvement massively. Souls, how would you explain what Kai Havertz has been this season for Arsenal?
Well, he's my client, so I can't say anything bad about him. But also, he's a fantastic baller. I've said it to you from the very get-go when we bought him. I was actually excited to see him play. And that's why I've been backing him from the very, very, very beginning. The only issue is our team isn't intelligent enough to pick him out. If they did, I swear to you, we'd double our
like 10 goals.
Yeah, he'd be on 10, 15. He'd be competing with the likes. Like he's genuinely one of the most intelligent footballers I've actually watched in terms of crashing the box, in terms of finding the right places. But we're just too timid to find him. Or Arteta's instructing them that you'll get a fine if you pick Havertz out. That's what it seems like to me, because there's times where I feel like Martinelli, he can probably double his output by just passing to Havertz and playing him off like a backboard. It feels like they don't like each other, or someone's beefing someone. It's like, did they sleep with each other's partners or something? Like, are they not allowed to pass to each other and make each other look good? But Havertz, for me, a fantastic baller.
Matt?
I've got two words, but I can't think of what. So I've got genius and I've got poacher, because he is exactly what
they work together.
Well, yeah, because he is exactly what Arteta wanted Nketiah to be in terms of in the box poacher, and Kai Havertz so far has shown that. Like, there was 2 goals that he scored, one in the Champions League and one against I can't remember who
Brentford.
Against. Yes, Brentford. No, not Brentford. It was Lens. No, Lens.
Was it Luton?
Yes,
Yeah.
Lens and Luton. Those 2 goals that he scored are very identical in the way he used his technique to score that. And I think that's one of the things that I think Arteta wanted to see from Nketiah, but we haven't seen that. So I'd probably say poacher. And genius, because like you said, he makes these runs that even our players are just not intelligent enough to pass them to.
I think if we had a bet,
let's try to move past this quickly and just try to finish off the ratings. Do we need to spend some time on Eddie Nketiah, or can we just say good goal and keep it moving? Because I feel like outside of the goal, did he do much?
No,
he
but
needs
the
to be
technique on
sold
the
as soon
goal
as flipping possible.
very
That goal has added £5 million to his price. Just sell him. I don't care. I don't need no expert. Just sell and get someone else.
It sounds bad, but I've always looked at him as just an asset to trying to kind of make some money off in that sense.
Because he's an academy player, you make 100% rock solid cash off him.
And obviously, like when you look at us over the last few years, we've spent a lot, but we haven't sold well. So he's probably one of the players that could probably get us 20 plus million. And then obviously I'm not sure if you've not seen it, but these links that are coming out today that we're trying to loan out Toney in January. So potentially, if we can get some sort of money for Nketiah and get a loan out for Toney, something like that would be, beneficial. But every time he does this, all I'm thinking about is adding zeros onto that transfer. You know what I mean? So
Nicholas
long may it
Jackson
continue.
here says, big up the panel. I got a conversation point. Eddie Nketiah could outscore Jesus this season in less games. What say you guys?
Yeah, but he's more.
No,
He probably will.
No. But the goal, like the overall goal, like productivity from the team comes down.
Yeah, so he
Yeah,
might
like-
score goals, but it doesn't benefit us in victories. That's what you're saying.
It's like Jesus, right? When we see Jesus play, we see the best of Havertz, I think, right?
Yeah.
When Eddie Nketiah plays, I feel like certain players they start to drown a little bit further. So I feel like you can't just look at goal involvements. You've got to look at what they bring to the team. Like Jesus
Okay,
against
guys.
Wolves.
There is some news, and it is interesting.
Okay.
Forget about the game for a second. Park it. We will come back. Actually, there's nothing left to rate.
Yeah, we don't need.
So Trossard gets a 6. Elneny gets a 5. Sorry, Trossard and Elneny get 5s or 6s. What do you guys think?
4.
Oh, you can't rate them the
4,
same.
yeah.
And then he was better than Trossard.
4. Yeah, I'd say Trossard got a 4.
4
Yeah,
for
for me.
Trossard, 5 for Elneny, or 6 for Elneny, whatever you guys give. 6 for what do you call it? Jorginho. I'm giving a 7 to Nelson. Eddie Nketiah gets a 6 for scoring the goal, and that's it. We keep it moving. The rest of the guys,
Egal,
Declan Rice,
So,
Odegaard, Ben White, they came in late. I'll give them all 5s, and we keep it moving. We need to talk about 2 things. There's breaking news right now. It's not breaking news, but it's like they keep talking about Ivan Toney. Now they're saying the rule for loans, you're allowed to have up to 2 players on loan from one club.
No, it's
Arsenal,
one club.
no, Arsenal could have technically 2 players on loan from one club. You're allowed to.
No, you
The
don't.
Premier League
Since when?
rule is you're allowed to have a maximum of 2 players.
Yes,
Let me
but it can't be from the same club. So we'd have to
yeah,
buy.
exactly. Yeah.
Premier League clubs may not register more than 2 players on loan at one time. Maximum loans registered in the same season is 4. No circumstance shall be more than 1 from the same club at any time. Oh, okay. So yeah, you can't have more than 1 from one club.
So basically,
technically,
if
we would have to buy
make
Raya.
the Raya deal permanent in
Yeah, we would have to buy
January.
Raya in January to make
Yeah.
the Toney loan deal potential.
Yeah.
But my question to you guys is, I've been seeing a lot more people against the signing of Toney now. Are you guys for or against the signing of Toney? Because personally, for me, I think he would improve us. But could it be a situation where we look down the line and say, if we waited till summer, we would have had a better player in our books?
Then I get Toney in, buy him, and then swap him for Osimhen in the summer. Simple.
I don't think life's that simple, my friend.
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
not-
They
I'm
said to me, when Arsenal come knocking, it's a different knock. So I want to see this different knock.
For me, I think with Toney, the reason why I don't actually want this is I think he's more of a short-term option than a long-term option. So, and then we've had a problem historically of getting rid of players that we no longer want. I mean, we still got.
So would you
Cedric on
take the
books.
loan then, if there was a 6-month loan in that case?
Yeah, if it's just a 6-month loan, then that's no problem. But what I wouldn't want to do is invest. When you look at where we are as a team, we need players that are going to take this club to the next level. We need players that are going to elevate it. I don't want more squad players because I feel like, especially we've been a little bit critical this season of our attack. So for me, I would want somebody that really raises the ceiling. Can I 100% say that Toney is a upgrade on Jesus? I couldn't confidently say that personally. I don't know for the rest of the panel, but for me, I wouldn't 100% agree with that. I mean, he got 12 non-penalty goals last season. It's not like the most astronomical. So it depends on the circumstances. A dry loan, yes. If it's not a dry loan, then I would probably rather wait until the summer and sign our number 1 target. Whether that be Osimhen or if it's going to be a Sesko, whoever it may be, whoever the club believe is the best forward out there to take us forward.
I've got some news to share with you. It's quite interesting. I've not expected this. So Charlie Patino is playing for Swansea tonight, and he's playing at striker.
Yeah, Charlie Patino's not coming back to Arsenal, in my opinion. We're gonna sell him.
You don't think he's coming back?
No, I think when I heard in the summer that they were trying to sell him and they were trying to find clubs for him, and he wants to move on to progress his career. Immediately, I was thinking to myself, when a player puts himself ahead of his development for the club will look to move him on.
See, Arsenal want to keep him, like, desperately. So he's hopefully going to sign a new contract in the summer.
Why would he if he can play first team football consistently and get signed for?
Because he wants to do it at Arsenal. He wants to make it.
Can I ask you the question, Matt? Though,
if he did want to do it at Arsenal, why would he say he wants to leave for more game time?
Because he doesn't want to go on any loans.
I mean, I have my doubts because I feel like what we've seen from Arsenal recently is we've signed a lot of players to contracts like Reece Nelson, who Arteta doesn't necessarily even trust to use, a lot. So I can see the club wanting him to tie him down because he's an asset, but I don't know if he's really going to have a long-term future at the club. I think ideally, from their perspective, they would want to keep him. They'd want to blood him out, and then they'd want to get maximum profit on him in returns, right? Because it's 100% profit. But
from what I've heard, Arteta wants him next season fighting for the number 8 spot.
Do you rate him higher than you rate the likes of, or is he rated higher than the likes of Miles Skelly and all those other youngsters in the youth system?
Yeah, he was, but I'm not gonna lie to you. It's always about his physical side of the game. That's what people question. Now, enough about Charlie Patino. The final topic of the day. Have you guys heard about Mikel Arteta's potential suspension that's on its way?
Yep.
I think it could be a suspension ban, meaning if he does it again, he'll get banned. Like, he'll get a massive fine as well, but I think it will literally just be a big fine, and if you do it again, you're going to be banned the next time.
I heard that the punishment could potentially be as bad as 4 games, but they have come down to agreement that it will only be a 2-game potential suspension.
It's convenient that he's going to miss the Liverpool game, isn't it?
110%. He was always destined to miss the Liverpool game. They were doing this on purpose. So the FA major punishment decision following Mikel Arteta's rant about referees is supposed to be landing tomorrow, most likely. Once we have more information, we'll let you guys know. But at this moment in time, rumor has it that he will be suspended minimum for 2 games, meaning he'll miss Brighton and potentially the Liverpool game. Is that plus a fine? Is that a fair punishment for a manager? Especially when
did you see what Pep Guardiola did in the Luton game?
Especially what De Zerbi did, saying he just doesn't like British referees. Like what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's an attack. To be fair, I feel like the Luton the Luton yellow card, which got him suspended from Villa, wasn't really in line with any of the punishment the FA have been handing out. They don't really. We've seen so many more managers celebrate with more vigor and do way more and not get booked. And I think, not to sound conspiracy theorist, but I think it's because of what he's done and we're actually being punished for it because, why have they waited so long to hand out this punishment? It's like they've waited for this tie almost, right?
Yeah.
And again, it is to
be fair, Arsenal brought lawyers involved and they have an external party doing it.
Sorry, say that again, sorry?
Arsenal got lawyers involved and they have an external party making the punishments.
Well, so right. I mean, like, if you look at what Pep Guardiola did, nothing. If you look what Haaland did, and they have literally released the VAR audio for the Haaland scream. My God, you could hear him scream so much. It's unbelievable. I don't know how he's not even been fined. It's ridiculous. And they just brushed it away like nothing.
And I think it's destroying the game, why can't a manager come out and express how he genuinely feels, right? Because say what you will, but
be honest.
Right? It brings, from a media perspective, right? Whether it's negative, it's still publicity and it's still good for their brand, right? So it gets the conversations going. You'll have shows on different channels about it. When everywhere it'll be discussed, right? And it'll become a major talking point. So from that perspective, you want managers, you want that passion of football, and it's almost like they're sucking the soul out of it. They're destroying it by kind of almost like limiting what you can and can't say. You can't express how you feel. You can't be disappointed.
Nah, do you know what it is? Yeah, I'll be honest. Premier League clubs have made this. It's their own fault, right? Because what happens is one manager will come out and say something. 5 years later, another fucking manager comes out and says something. There's no unity. There's no like, okay, we know these referees are crap. Let's just jump on the bandwagon and let's all start saying shit. There's none of that. Like Jurgen Klopp came out after the 2-2 against Spurs. That's the time to say something. He's come out and he started the conversation. And it was, by the way, a legitimate conversation as well. So the likes of Arteta, the likes of Pep, the likes of whoever else wanted to join in, De Zerbi, they should have all joined in then.
Yeah.
Not as individuals, not as like, okay, now it's less us run because it's happened against us. No, we know the referees are shit. They've always been shit. It's not just now this shit. So why not just jump on the same bandwagon, create a unity and go, do you know what? We're sick of this. Not, okay, 5 games down the line now. Okay, Jurgen, now it's your turn. No, like
I think
just
it's because that we laugh at them having these bad decisions, and then they'll
it's
laugh
like
at us
when the
and
Jurgen
so
thing
on.
happened. It's like Arteta didn't really back it. He kind of evaded the question. No, just fucking rip into them.
You know what, guys? Simply put, at this moment onwards, we've learned our lesson. You talk about referees, you're gonna get punished.
Yeah,
you cannot question the powers at hand, because if you do, they're going to give you dodgy decisions like the decision against Aston Villa.
No, or you call your buddies and you say, look, yeah, we're all doing it, yeah. We're signing contracts that say we are going to speak against these refs. And if you back out, yeah, we're going to come and beat the crap out of you, lads. Right, so we all come in, press conference, let's talk.
You know what the problem is?
I don't think anyone is going to back Arteta. You have Spurs manager coming out sucking.
Then everyone can shut the fuck up and just deal with it, because there's nothing you can say then.
You got
Pep, deal with it. You have to have shit
saying, you got Pep saying, I don't want to do an Arteta. Basically, I think they spoke to all the managers in the Premier League and they said anybody does what Arteta does, they're going to get punished severely.
God, what are they going to do? Punish 20 managers? They're all pussies.
But you know what it is?
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? No, I genuinely, if a club complains about the referees, they deserve it. I'm going to laugh at them. Because you guys are all dumbasses. You're a $1 billion corporation, and not one of you has got the balls to go, do you know what? What are they going to do to all 20 of us? They're going to kick us out? Yeah, go for it, because your brand's done. We'll go get the Super League started again. Then what are you going to do? Then what?
You know, I think the problem is everyone's invested in their own interests, right? Every team cares about themselves. So it's like, I don't want my manager missing for a game. So no one's really going to talk out. And it's so tribal in that way. And it's only when it really affects you do you talk about it. And we even saw it in the Villa press conference, right? Arteta did not say a single word, right? You could see he just said clear and obvious, and he
clear and obvious, right? Yeah, over
right. Again. So you can see, like, it's almost like, you are silenced and you can't, you're no longer allowed to express yourself, and it's a shame for the brand because it kind of destroys it a little bit, I think, in my opinion.
Bro, are you watching this buying game? They're all just taking each other out. It's fucking jokes.
Has there been a goal yet?
No, they're all just two-footing each other.
Basically, United.
You know what? We're going to wrap it up here. I just want to say big up Mr. Y_OTP. What's your name, by the way, brother?
No,
I've got my name, Mr. Y. So
Mr. Y. Big up Mr. Y. And we got Matt in the building. Big up Matt.
Hello.
Guys, go check them out. Do you guys have your own channels or just Twitter?
Just Twitter.
I've just started a channel with some friends. So yeah. So OTP. The OTP pod.
OTP. What does OTP stand for?
Off the post.
Off the post. Okay, I like that. And then we got Gunnar Souls in the building. Yo, Souls, what's your hat, by the way?
No, it's just D squared.
Okay, we're out of here, guys. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. I feel like this is the definition of a dead rubber. We ran out of things to talk about after 45 minutes. We're talking about hats. It's mad. Anyways, you guys enjoy the rest of your night.
So much to talk about.
I'm out of here. Hopefully we win against Brighton and we won't have as much to talk about on that game also.
Yeah.
You guys have a good one. Peace.